Republic Act No. 6713, Section 8, Statements and Disclosure. Public officials and employees have an obligation to accomplish and submit declarations under oath of, and the public has the right to know their assets, liabilities, net worth, and financial and business interests, including those of their spouses and of unmarried children under 18 years of age living in their households.
A. Statements of assets and liabilities and financial disclosure. B. Identification and disclosure of relatives. C. Accessibility of documents. D. Prohibited act.
Section 9, Divestment. A public official or employee shall avoid the conflicts of interest at all times. When a conflict of interest arises, he shall resign from his position in any private business in enterprise within 30 days from his assumption of office and divest himself of his shareholdings or interest within 60 days from such assumption. Section 10. Review and Compliance Procedure.
We have 3 review and compliance procedure. A. The designated committees of both houses of the Congress shall establish procedures for the review of statements to determine whether said statements which have been submitted on time are complete and are in proper form. In the event of determinations made that the statement is not so filed, the appropriate committee shall so inform the reporting individual and direct him to take the necessary corrective action. B. In order to carry out their responsibilities under this Act, the designated committees of both houses of Congress shall have the power within their respective jurisdictions to render any opinion interpreting this Act in writing to persons covered by this Act, subject in each instance to the approval by affirmative vote of the majority of the particular House concerned, the individual to whom an opinion is rendered, and any other individual involved in a similar factual situation, and who, after issuance of the opinion, acts in good faith in accordance with it shall be subject to any sanction provided in this Act. C. The heads of other offices shall perform the duties stated in subsections A and B hereof insofar as their respective offices are concerned, subject to the approval of the Secretary of Justice in the case of the Executive Department and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in the case of the Judicial Department.
Section 11. Penalties.
A. Any public official or employee, regardless of whether or not he hold office or employment in a casual, temporary, holdover, permanent, or regular capacity, committing any violation of this Act shall be punished with a fine exceeding the equivalent of 6 months' salary or suspension not exceeding 1 year, or removal depending on the gravity of the offense, after due notice and hearing by the appropriate body or agency, if the violation is punishable by heavier penalty under another law. He shall be prosecuted under the latter statute. B. Any violation hereof proven in a proper administrative proceeding shall be sufficient cause for removal or dismissal of a public official or employee, even if no criminal prosecution is instituted against him. C. Private individuals who participate in conspiracy as co-principals, accomplices, or accessories with public officials or employees in violation of this Act shall be subject to the same penal liabilities as the public officials or employees and shall be tried jointly with them. D. The official or employee concerned may bring an action against any person who obtains or uses a report for any purpose prohibited by Section 8D of this Act. The court in which such action is brought may assess against such person a penalty in any amount not to exceed 25,000 pesos. If another sanction hereunder or under any other law is heavier, the latter shall apply.
Section 12. Promulgation of rules and regulations, administrations, and enforcement of this Act. The Civil Service Commission shall have the primary responsibility for the administration and enforcement of this Act. It shall transmit all cases for prosecution arising from violations of this Act and to the proper authorities for appropriate action, provided, however, that it may institute such administrative actions and disciplinary measures as may be warranted in accordance with law. Nothing in these provisions shall be construed as a deprivation of the right of each House of Congress to discipline its member for disorderly behavior. Section 13. Provisions for more stringent standards. Nothing in this Act shall be construed to derogate from any law or any regulation prescribed by any body or agency which provides for more stringent standards for its officials and employees. Section 14, Appropriations. The sum necessary for the effective implementation of this Act shall be taken from the appropriations of the Civil Service Commission. Thereafter, such sum as may be needed for its continued implementation shall be included in the Annual General Appropriations Act. Section 15, Separability Clause. If any provisions of this Act or the application of such provision to any person or circumstance is declared invalid, the remainder of the Act or the application of such provision to other persons or circumstances shall not be affected by such declaration. Section 16, Repealing Clause.
All laws, decrees, and orders or parts thereof inconsistent herewith are deemed repealed or modified accordingly unless the same provide for a heavier penalty. Section 17, Effectivity. This act shall take effect after 30 days following the completion of its publication in the Official Gazette or in 2 national newspapers of general circulation. Approved February 20, 1989.
Republic Act No. 6713, an act establishing a code of conduct and ethical standards for public officials and employees to uphold the time-honored principle of public office being a public trust, granting incentives and rewards for exemplary service, enumerating prohibited acts and transactions and providing penalties for violations thereof and for other purposes. Reporting, Rachel Pagbilao from TCPB1. Thank you.